What's going on, guys? Welcome to Beyond Politics. This is an in-depth conversation where we bring our perspective to relevant political topics of the day. I'm your host, Jared, and with me, as always, is Seth. You fired up, man?
Dude, we haven't done a Beyond Politics in a while.
It has been a while.
But, dude, as soon as this broke, I was like, it's going to be more than we can fit into the PGP. So I'm glad that we're dedicating a whole video to this because I think it's super important, super ridiculous. And I'm super fired up because it's just
insane.
Infuriating.
Yeah, we had to dedicate an entire segment to this. Of course, we're talking about the Evergreen State College
racism.
Whatever's going on there, man. It's a big story. I didn't really know about it until actually a couple days after it broke. I saw it. I feel like it hasn't been covered quite as much on the mainstream medias, but it's been getting a lot of attention on kind of alternative news sources on the internet and stuff like that. I know a couple of people we follow, Dave Rubin and stuff, have been pretty
He's been on the
involved
Rubin
in it.
Report. He's been on Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
He's even said that CNN and left stations haven't reached out to him. He's been on Fox talking about it. They reached out.
Yeah, I know. Tucker calls. Yeah.
It's messed up that he hasn't. Yeah, this should be way bigger, I think.
Why don't you kind of run through it just to explain a little bit to the people
okay.
what has happened, what's going on there.
Okay, so we are talking about the Brett Weinstein controversy at Evergreen State College. Now, a little bit of backstory. Evergreen State College is a public college that's a little bit different from normal colleges. It's a college where the students take what they call programs for a year at a time, up to a year at a time, where they're studying like one thing and they're devoted to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like they have basically one class, one thing that they're studying each. What they do is called quarters, so it'd be 4 quarters for the 1 year program. But when they do that, the professor also dedicates a specific one thing at a time. So you get this really close knit rapport, conversation, and basically relationships with their students.
Yeah.
And it's actually very fascinating, which makes it even more crazy that this is happening because this professor, Brett Weinstein, he's a evolutionary biologist. He knows his students on a level that most professors at universities don't understand because he only has 28 kids in a class, and he has them year-round 100% devoted to what he's teaching. And it also gives the professors 100% freedom on what they want to teach and how they want to teach it.
Yeah.
They could choose to do a normal, like assign a textbook and read the textbook, or completely try something new. They could do like maybe a overseas. Like they have 100% creative freedom in how they want to teach what they want to teach. So it's really cool. But unfortunately, this controversy arose 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks ago now, because this school every year has what they call a day of absence. It's what they're called, and it's I guess it's in May, I think.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's in reference to a play that the school did. In this play, it's in olden times, whatever, and African Americans and blacks in the play. The story goes that they don't feel like they're appreciated in society, and so for one day they all pull out and they don't go to work, they don't go into the town, they don't do anything, they leave and kind of commune together to show the town that it actually needs them to survive. So it's kind of like an empowering thing. The play is back then that they are actually needed and they're not useless, and so that's fine. I back then I think that was definitely needed. But there's kind of a ceremonial thing every year now that this day of absence occurs where all of the African American students, or at least a vast majority, go off campus to some sort of hall or event that they have set aside for them where they'll commune and they'll talk about racial issues and they'll do like discussions and stuff. And so that's, whatever. If they want to go do it, that's fine. Brett never had a problem with that. He's worked at this school for many, many years.
Yeah.
And the thing that he had a problem with was this year, the school put out an email saying this day of absence, instead of it being the black people and the people of color voluntarily going off campus, they wanted to have it on campus, and they asked that no white people be on campus that day. And so Brett put out an email after the first one was set out. He sent it to the faculty, and then it was made public by the newspaper. So we have the full email, which we're going to post in the description down below. So you can read it yourself, because the email is the heart of all of this controversy and why he's being called racist. And it's completely insane, because in the email, he sounds totally reasonable because his perspective was there's a completely different it's a completely different situation when people leave voluntarily and when you tell people they can't be somewhere because of their skin color. Like, those are not the same thing. You can't just come on campus and then tell the white people they're not allowed to come on campus this day and it be okay.
Absolutely.
Now, in the interviews, he has stated that it wasn't necessarily, they weren't told they weren't allowed to be on campus, but it was heavily incentivized that they shouldn't be. And this reaction to him alone proves that they didn't want them on campus, because all he said was he didn't believe it was right for them to tell people that were white that they're not welcome on campus this day. So he was going to be on campus that day, and they could take that as a protest. And so all he said was, listen, I don't think it's right for you to tell white people they're not allowed to be on campus. He's like, I'm going to be on campus because I don't agree with this. And you can take that as a protest if you want. I just think that it's messed up. I don't have no problem with you going off campus, but I don't want you coming on and telling me I can't be here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically, you shouldn't base the qualifications for somebody to be on a campus based on their skin color.
Right.
Sounds pretty radical.
So that blew up on it was 2 weeks ago. I can't remember the dates, but it blew up, and videos started popping up online taken by the protesters, which they thought they were looking good in these videos. But here we can see a group of protesters cornering Brett at his classroom. So they went to his classroom. They basically became a mob, and they went to his class, and they were like, "We want to talk about your racist whatever." And he's like, "That's fine, we can talk." I mean, they went during his class time, so he's like, "I have class. Do you want to go on this floor because there's no class there?" I'm like, "No, we're gonna have it in front of your students or whatever." And he was like, "Okay, fine, we'll step outside." So here we pick up right after they just said that they're chanting for him being fired, and they confront him in front of his students outside his classroom, and this is what happened.
Debate means you are trying to win. Dialectic means you are using disagreement to discover what is true. I am not interested in debate. I am interested only in dialectic, which does mean I listen to you and you listen to me.
We don't care what terms you want to speak on. This is not about you.
I'm talking.
This is all about him. On terms of white privilege. This is not a discussion. You have lost that one.
I am talking about terms that serve the truth. Those are the terms.
House of dialectic. You said some racist. Can you apologize?
I did not. Okay. You don't know. Emails and target students of color.
Nothing racist about it.
Do I think that black students in sciences are targeted here? Do I think they're targeted anywhere?
Speak to what you know and speak to the truth.
Okay. I do not believe that students of color are targeted in the sciences here.
Why?
But maybe I misunderstand what you mean by targeted. Oh my God. Get the So wait a second. To me, targeted means something different than what I just heard you define it as. I do not believe that anybody on our faculty with intent specially targets students of color.
Exactly. What you gotta say?
Public protest. Was that not targeting people of color?
I'm sorry.
Due to an absence for people of color.
I didn't hear you at the beginning.
Your protest of day of absence, your presence taken as a protest, if you will. That's what you said in your email.
But you're saying it's targeting with
black
intent.
for black students.
May I answer that question?
Okay.
Wait a second. First of all, day of absence has been here longer than I have. I have never protested it until the idea. Until no. First of all, I didn't say.
So yeah, completely reasonable discussion that he should be fired, except not at all, man. They are screaming and yelling at him. He looks completely dumbfounded, and he said like he was caught off guard, like the outrage that he did not think this email would be that big of a deal, him just saying this. And these kids just
Totally
freaked
lose
out.
their mind.
Like, and it's insane that they're screaming at him and telling him he should be fired and saying that well, he's like, well, do you want to have a discussion? Like, no. And he's like, I mean, I want to have a discussion on a debate. And then the one girl's like, no, you can't talk about that. You've already lost that battle. It's like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. I mean, they're yelling these profanities at him and this stuff at him. And then he's like, well, do you want me to answer that question, or can we have a discussion about this? And they're like, no, we can't.
It's like, what is the point of this?
You've already ruined that by staying on campus and doing your job and teaching classes.
So this evolved into that day of hundreds of students marching through campus, screaming at other professors that racist professors need to go.
Ho ho! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey!
That Brett needs to go. He's racist. To the point where they like boarded themselves inside the library and just were screaming and chanting. And they actually had like, they would send out white people to be like a lookout and everything. And they actually drafted up a list of demands that they then brought to the president of the school and had these list of demands and that they wanted him to do. And you can see a little bit of their confrontation with the president here.
Excuse me.
Get the camera on her.
Can we?
No, you, George. We don't want to hear a goddamn thing you have to say. You talk so much. No, you shut up. No.
I think what's smart is not to I think what's smart is not to tone for these people. These people are angry, and so what matters is what they're saying, not how they're saying. Yeah, we can tell you.
Can we go sit in that big ass office, please?
It's being used right now for an interview.
Oh, this is much more important than that.
Oh yeah,
For the new vice president.
we pay here.
Oh, this is definitely much more important than that. This is definitely much more than that.
That's where we're moving right now.
Can someone
Okay. Well, we could go to like.
Do you know
Really?
any other
Okay,
room
alright.
we could go into, George?
I do not know of another.
You're the
room.
president of the school and you don't know any other room we could go to.
They know
I said you're the president of the school and you don't know any other room we could go to?
You know exactly where we could go.
Is there any
That
way
was
to-
I know
I
lots
don't
of
like
rooms.
volunteers
I know
for
lots of
grabbing,
rooms. They may
finding
be
cups
filled
of
with
water.
students.
Anybody needs some
Well, yeah, and then those students need to know what's happening. I think we should be informing those students of what's happening. So I think it might be a good idea for us to go maybe disrupt other students.
All of us are students and have homework and projects and things due.
I know.
Have you sent an email out to our faculty letting them know?
No.
What's been done about that? 'Cause we're all here on our own time.
Okay, girl.
That is the first thing I'll do. I have not done it yet. I will
So they
do
need
it
to be
right now.
told that these assignments won't be done on time. And we don't need to be penalized for that.
I don't know the names of all the students here.
We'll just send it to all the faculty.
It matters. Your vice president is black, so I know you can do it, Joe. Yeah, Joe.
I love your confidence in me. Hold on. Sorry. I speak with my hands.
The faculty need to know what's going on so that y'all can't keep doing this pointing fingers. And since I know
You act like we don't have technology, yo.
Are you listening? Okay, this is it. This is how you can help.
Yeah, please.
You please, George, you please. Come on.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay, we trying to listen. Go ahead.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay. Just go ahead. Just go ahead and say it.
I want to go to work on these with Wendy, the other people here, the faculty.
Oh, faculty, y'all staying?
I need some privacy, folks. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have claustrophobia.
Oh, okay.
And we endure hate crimes on your campus and we pay to be here.
That students of color have to work in threatening environments every day.
Come on, baby.
Welcome. Get to work.
You can get that work. We can get the desk. Can he get the desk? I mean, whatever you need.
Yeah, George, you go ahead and migrate to your desk. We'll be right here.
All right, George, I'm going to catch you on the flip side, Playboy.
Sorry, folks. I will work on these. You hold me accountable by Friday.
George, this is shit we gotta deal with every day. If you don't go to your desk, you don't know.
So by Friday, if all those are met, you need to pay for a potluck.
I pay for a potluck anyway.
Yeah, okay, bet. Okay, we want gumbo. Bet.
We want gumbo made by my mama.
Okay.
Trying to copy this to put it up on the college's website.
You can scan it. Get the fuck out of here.
You got this, and we're going to put it up on the college's website, okay?
Oh, we got to tell him management skills. They got scanners down in the library.
Yeah. Let's get out of here. Shit.
Peace out, y'all.
So yeah, I mean that seems totally reasonable. I can't. Like, we're going to keep going because I want to lay out the outline, and then we're going to talk about the steps and how ridiculous it is. But here you can see, like, they're screaming at him. They're saying, they're making fun of the fact that he's claustrophobic, saying, oh, no, black people have to deal with threatening situations every day. What are you talking about? Like, the delusion that these people have is absolutely insane. But unfortunately, the freaking president gave in to the demands.
Yes.
And he put out a statement a couple days later, starting the statement with, I'm Jeff Bridges. I use he, him pronouns. So you just know the statement's going to be...
Got it covered.
It's going to be golden. So here were the student demands that he agreed to. We're going to run through them real quick, a couple of them. First, he agreed to make the Student Conduct Code a living document that will adapt over time to serve evolving student needs. AKA, whenever we have a problem, we want you to change it because we're babies. Like, an evolving living document. Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever. He also promised to hire a full-time affirmative action and equal opportunity officer to investigate claims of discrimination, and said outside investigators would be brought in if necessary. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the fact that it was a demand by this angry mob that he gave into.
Also, the fact that it's a public school that receives funding
from the government.
In other words, from you. So congratulations, you've just hired a full-time affirmative action, equal opportunity employee. So
right.
What's next?
So in addition to that, the faculty member read a statement saying professors are committed to imposing annual mandatory training for all faculty beginning in the fall of 2017 to cover subjects including but not limited to institutional racism, the needs of students of color, LGBTQIA students, undocumented students, what are those? Victims of sexual assault, and students with disabilities.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm not saying they shouldn't be trained in those things, but
I'm gonna hold all my comments until the end.
Yeah, no, we're almost there, kind of almost there. Then they also promised, as per the demands, they're gonna build a new equity center on campus. Even though, according to the school's website, they already boast 4 equity centers, but that's not enough for them. They want more. And he said the students would have final say over the design plans for the new center. And in addition to all of this, he called, I'm trying to find the exact quote, but he called the students, like, good that they were doing this and they were speaking up for themselves. He was basically
proud
saying,
that they took over.
He was proud that he said, so here's what he said, I found it. Let me reiterate my gratitude for the passion and courage you have shown me and others. I want every one of you to feel safe on this campus and be able to learn in a supportive environment free from discrimination or intimidation, obviously unless you're white, because then we don't care. Because we're going to run through and show a couple of videos here of the absolute insane campus environment that evolved from this.
What about our protection right now? You and the police!
I would suggest that you take under heavily consideration those that oppose the training and
Let me remind y'all, that's how whiteness works. Whiteness is the most violent system to ever breathe.
I want to cry. I can't tell you how fast my heart is beating right now. I'm shaking in my boots.
I got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These races, I got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! While somebody's talking, you are not listening. In your head, if you're thinking of a response while somebody is talking, that is not listening. You need to listen. And to be honest with you, I don't even expect you to even say anything to me because I know actions speak louder than words. My mama didn't raise no fool.
Stop giggling and laughing every time we say something. Control it. Try.
Well, I heard her say that 11 o'clock is running. She shouldn't have to be here at 5:30 still telling you to stop laughing.
It's not an accident that all of our administration is white.
Right.
It's not an accident. That shit is systematic as So while we sit down here,
I said I'm tired of white people talking about what black and brown people need. You don't know.
I'm just trying to respond
I'm
to
letting you know.
All right. So, we have the day of absence, we have Brett Weinstein saying, like, listen, I don't think it's right for you to tell people that if they're white, they shouldn't be on campus. We have an angry mob forming and taking over a freaking school. We have them cornering a president who's spineless and him giving into their demands and these ridiculous things. And now we have Brett Weinstein going on all these talk shows talking about how he's not even allowed back on campus. Every morning since it's happened, he's had to call the police and say, hey, listen, can I go on campus? Is it safe? And every morning so far, they've said, no, it's not safe for you to be on campus. We can't protect you. We've gotten threats or suspicion of threats. And in addition to all of that, so them saying he's not allowed on campus because we can't guarantee his safety. The freaking school has told the campus police department that they are to stand down.
Exactly.
So even if you wanted to go on campus and the police wanted to protect them, the school's not letting them because it's a campus police department. They have last say on what they do. So the campus is not letting them police officers go on campus to protect this guy should he want to go teach his freaking job. So he's been teaching at other places like parks and stuff and having the students come to him. And so let's just open up. What is going on, dude? How?
Insanity. I think it's super telling. We didn't really mention this that much. The teacher himself it's not like the teacher has any kind of history of racism. It's not like he's somebody who disagrees with like equality for people or the Black Lives Matter movement or anything. I mean, this guy is a staunch Bernie supporter to this day.
He's a self-proclaimed progressive. He believes in progressive ideas.
Exactly. And equality of opportunity, I think, is what he talked about. Totally. I mean, I agree with that as well. But, I mean, it's not like this guy's some, far right. Even it's not like this guy's a conservative or Republican or anything. He's a Bernie supporter. So I think that's interesting how they're totally eating their own in this instance.
Yes.
But, I mean, this really is a couple things. One, the president is totally spineless. I mean, you saw in a clip, one of the girls was saying, and hey, by the way, we shouldn't have to worry about getting any of our homework done or anything like that. We shouldn't be penalized because we're over here busy finalizing the plans for our newest equality center.
We're fighting for equality, so you should stop giving us homework.
Exactly. Basically, yeah. I mean, so you're going to school, but you're not having to do any homework, but you're finalizing plans for some kind of equality center. It's insane. It's totally
Dude, not
insane.
only that, there's a video of the president trying to give a speech at a lunchroom, and he's doing like what I'm doing, and he's talking with his hands, and they literally stop him and say, don't use your hands. It's microaggressive.
Or do it.
Put your hand down. That's my problem, George. You keep doing these.
Could you not
like,
put your hands so close to the camera?
Are you kidding? Like,
it's insane.
You're policing his hands right now. That's a microaggression.
Well, the police aren't doing anything. So, and that's another thing is this professor has brought this upon himself. I'm sorry, but what you need to do is allow these campus police to come in and organize these uprisings and stuff like that. Get the students back in the classrooms where they belong. If they disobey, they're expelled and out of the school, and you restore order back into the school. I'm sorry, you brought this upon yourself. So this is infuriating. It's infuriating to me on a number of levels because, one, you have the students who think that they're so deeply wronged that they need to, kind of protest this much and riot and cause this much upheaval. But then also it's super frustrating because you have a lot of people on the faculty and the president in particular who's allowing this to happen and not stopping it when he has the power to, and telling the chief of the campus police chief to stand down.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I'm so glad now. So there's been a lot of this information has come from interviews that, like we talked about, Brett has had with people like Rubin and Joe Rogan and Fox News.
Yeah.
But he's kind of expanded on it and talked about how he's actually, like, listen to him talk, man. He's very well spoken. He's actually very tame. He's scared about the whole situation.
Sure. Yeah.
But he's not quick to condemn all the students. He sees it as the faculty kind of mobilizing these students because there are people that have been on faculty that are part of the problem, he says. And here you can see a video of one of the faculty, a person of color, screaming at these two older white faculty people saying that they shouldn't be here. They have two options and that's it, and dictating their lives. And like, what are you doing? So let's just show that real quick.
You are historian.
philosopher of this work and not just assuming that because it doesn't make you feel good the way that we say it, that you get to decide. You're doing this wrong. All like most white people like came of age.
This is
in the
Naimia
60s
and a few other faculty having a confrontation outside the library.
You are now the ones that we're pushing against. You can't see your way out of your own ass. So don't talk to me. Half of these people told me to stay my ass home today. You're sick. You put in a lot of goddamn effort. You've listened to these people talk shit to you for 7 fucking years. So no, I don't want to hear about it. So what I'm saying is what I said at the start. You can go inside and you can listen to the students and what they're trying to say, or you can take your ass home. That is it. I gave you 2 options. I am not in the mood. I am so tired. You literally, the first thing you do is try to come up with a way to not listen. 2 options. Go inside. Go home. That's it. I don't have time for anything else. I am too tired. This shit is literally going to kill me.
Do you have a time for an apology?
Go inside.
Go inside or go home. 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 Go inside or go home.
So yeah, so this is it's anarchy on this campus. I think you had mentioned it just opened again because it was closed for a while.
Yeah.
But it just reopened.
Yep.
It blows my mind.
What they're doing, they don't even realize it, but they're harming and condemning people who would fight for what they want. I mean,
Yes.
the professors here in the school itself, Brett Weinstein said it has a liberal bend to it. I mean, it's a liberal arts college. The majority of the opinions there are liberal, are leftist kind of thing. So, I mean, they're fighting against people who would help them in their causes, in what they want to do, but they can't understand it because they think that they're so oppressed and they're so victimized for having to do homework at school and
the
for
hands. Don't
someone-
forget the hands.
And the hands. And for someone to just say, hey, look, guys, I mean, if you want to leave school, then that's fine. That's great. You guys can leave and go have your collective group and talk about the issues that are important to you. But it's wrong to tell somebody that they can't be somewhere based on their skin color, especially when it's their job to be there. And they have been there. I don't know how long he's been teaching.
And the white
It was
people are paying
it's a
to be
while.
there.
Exactly. That's his job. He's supposed to be there. And, hey, don't discriminate against people based on their skin color. How is that not a position that they would support? Everyone should support.
Well, because you can't be racist if you're black, remember?
Apparently.
Right.
Apparently.
And so it's kind of insane to believe. And honestly, it's hard to believe that this is real. Like, this is actually happening. But he has talked about in his interviews how this has kind of been building over time. He thinks that this is not just this switch, but they've slowly been giving in more and more. For instance, when this new president came in, he put together this new equity board or whatever, and one of the proposals they put forward was every single professor that they hire, they needed to be justified for equity. Meaning the one of the most important things when they're hiring a professor is that it's justifiable equality wise.
Yeah.
Not based on their performance and what they're being hired for, but the fact that it's equity for the campus. Meaning, oh, this physicist is really great, but he's white and we already have white physicists. We need to find a black one. We need to find an Asian one. We need to find Hispanic because we need to be equal. Like, he opposed that and he got heat for that a little bit.
Yeah,
but like that was kind of
an email about
building up. That was a couple. I was like you said, like a year ago.
Yeah.
But like, that's insanity. Like, diversity for the sake of diversity. Hiring professors based on the fact that you need to freaking check off a mark on a box that we have one of them. That's insane. That's insane. You need to hire professors that are the best for their job, regardless of skin color. You shouldn't worry about what skin color they are, only that they're good at their job and they fit the bill of the job position.
Absolutely. And if you cared about the students and the people coming through your college, then you would be doing that. You would be basing it based off of their merit and not what color skin they are.
And just for more that's going on there, I mean, Ben's talked about, he's talked about how, or Brett, sorry, not Ben, Brett. He was talking about how one day he got a call from the cops, the campus police, and they were like, hey, are you on campus? And he was like, no, I'm not on campus today. I don't have class today. They're like, okay, good. Do not go on campus because we're hearing reports that protesters are going car to car asking for a specific person, and we think it's you. They are literally going car to car. Like, what are they going to do if they found him? Yeah. What was the plan if they ran to a car and actually had Brett? Absolutely.
And he said a couple times, like, their demands back when they said that people had to leave the campus if they were white. Their demands, they kind of asked people to do that. But then he later said that they threatened the president with violence, with uprisings, if it didn't actually happen and if those demands weren't met that the president later gave into.
And he also talked about how there was another professor that kind of misunderstood. She had no intention of protesting the thing. She kind of just misunderstood. She thought the opening ceremony for this day of absence would be welcome to all, but then once it started, she would kind of excuse herself from it because it wasn't necessarily for her. And so she brought her students to what he called an indigenous building, like a local building or whatever, with local teachers that I guess they'd learn about the natives or whatever. And when she got there with her students for this day of absence, a faculty member that was promoting the day of absence walked up to her. This is a white teacher. Walked up to her and said, hey, you're welcome to be here, but this really isn't for you, and you'd be better if you left. And so the teacher, feeling awkward, left. Students said it was very awkward, and the native person I was going to teach the class or whatever, apparently she said that she was visually upset and told the woman that was leaving, that was told her basically you're not welcome, that said this is a place of learning. This is not a place for this is a place for learning. This isn't a place for like keeping people away. Discrimination. That's the word. Yeah. And it's like,
oh, absolutely. And that's
where is that okay?
And like I said, this teacher is someone who would help them in their cause. I mean, she left because she felt like she shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? And I'm sure she was upset about it, but I think she wants to help these people. She wants to support them, but they're shooting themselves in the foot when they do this. And Brett Weinstein talks about it a little bit in an interview. I can't remember if it was Rogan or Rubin, but he talks about how it's so dangerous what they're doing because it's pushing people, like it's pushing their supporters away from them when they act like this, because nobody in their right mind can defend this kind of action and outrage.
And he's actually talked about how at a interior perspective of the school, basically it's all against him. But from an exterior perspective, everyone's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, are you like, this is really happening right now?
And the fact that we're like super defendant and we like the opinions that are expressed by this guy, who I guarantee you that I would not agree with. I don't know his politics that well, but I mean, he's a Bernie supporter. I probably wouldn't agree with the majority of things that he has to say, but he's reasoned here and he's right, and we're defending him because these people are so outrageous in what they're doing.
They're terrorizing the school, man. And Brett even talked about how they literally cornered the president in his office when they were talking to him, and then he said he had to go to the restroom and he couldn't like leave because they were all in his way. So like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? They told him no, unless they said he could only go to the bathroom if they escorted him to the bathroom. So literally 2 protesters escorted the president of the school to the bathroom so he could go to the bathroom. That's a hostage situation. I'm sorry. Like, what are you doing? How is this okay?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to me how we were talking about this earlier. There's the campus police, right? And then there's the actual city police that the school is in. But the campus police kind of have jurisdiction over the school.
Yeah.
But like, at what point do the safety of the citizens of the city then need to be protected from the police of the city if the campus police aren't stepping in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
because they're being totally told to step down by the president. But you would think,
well, not by the board of the school.
I'm sorry, by the board of the school. But you would think that the police chief of the city can overrule a school's board if it's happening to citizens of the city. If something terrible is happening like this, where they're literally being overrun. But the thing is it's outrageous. But I don't feel bad for the faculty of this school, for most of them, and the president of the school right now at all, because they brought it upon themselves.
Yeah, and the fact that this is being called racism. Let's address that. So he's Jewish, white dude, progressive, is being called racist because he wouldn't leave a school that he's works at one day when they asked him to, and he was like, nah, that seems wrong for you to tell me I can't be here because I'm white.
Yeah.
He's racist now? This is a racism thing? This isn't a racism thing. It's a racism thing when you tell a white person that can't be at school. Could you imagine if you're like, hey, black people, don't come to school today. Dude,
get out.
Literally later on in that same day, there was a big, like, what's that called? A bunch of people get together at a cafeteria or something, like a
protest gathering?
Meeting? I don't know. They had food and stuff, and they literally said, hey, there's food and chairs in the back for people of color.
Yeah.
That's what they said. They said, hey, that's for people of color, not white people. Are you kidding me? And you can even see in videos that you can find online of this thing where a woman will walk in and say, hey, are there any people of color that need a drink?
The eyes and shit, for what? For us saying like, hey, Brett, you need to apologize? For what, white guy?
Is there any black folks that need water in here?
And it's like, what is going on that you are condemning this guy of racism and then at the same time turning around and telling white people they're not allowed certain things?
That's insane.
Or you're telling people of color are privileged to certain things that they're not allowed. Like, how are you this messed up in your mind that you cannot understand that you're the epitome of racism? You're garbage. You are not helping anything. You are a parasite in this school right now. You need to be – I don't know what needs to happen to this school. I don't know if they can even come back from this because it's the majority of the school at this point.
Yeah, no, I think a great option would be to take away the federal funding for the school,
which is a great idea.
I think that's a very good idea. That bill, I guess, has been kind of introduced or talked about. I doubt it will happen at all, but I think that's definitely an option. But to kind of, it's a whole kind of group of people that are being raised to believe that it's impossible for them to be racist because they've been so oppressed. And that they can say and do whatever it takes, and the ends justify the means, really, because they've been wronged and they've been oppressed, and they have to fight for their right, and it doesn't matter what the cost or what they have to do, and if they have to, cause some riots, if there has to be violence, and they have to force, these people to leave the school, then so be it, because it's justified in their mind, and I think that's really dangerous.
Yeah, well, you even saw, because there have been some of Brett's students, stand up for him because, like we had stated in the beginning, the way the curriculum works, he gets very close with his students. He knows his students on a personal level, where some have stepped forward. You can see some of the videos earlier we showed where he had some white students standing up for him, but later on he specifically talked about this one African American student. I'm assuming African American, will say people of color student, person of color, stand up for him in this whole cafeteria of them basically just screaming, because the louder you are, the more right you are. She basically stood and was like, hey guys, I don't think he's racist. Like, I know him and I don't think he's racist. They literally shout her down, and they sent someone to go talk to her to tell her why she's wrong.
Why the person that they have never met actually is a racist. They send someone to go over
He doesn't recognize a lot of these protesters, and the way the curriculum works, he knows all of his students, and he doesn't recognize a lot of people, so they haven't had him. They don't know him.
All they know is that he sent out an email that said he will not be participating in the day of absence, where he has to leave his job because of his skin color.
Right.
And now
when they're screaming, this is how whiteness works, whiteness is the most violent effing system to ever breathe. What are you talking about? What world do you live in? I do not understand. Dude, this just... Like, can we declare martial law in this school and just arrest all of them?
It's insane. It infuriates you, really, to the point where, like...
And this is what happens when you take political correctness too far.
Way too far.
When you go to the extreme that we talked about that was always ridiculous, like, yo, you're being ridiculous, you're taking it too far. Case in point, did not take that long to get there.
No, not at all.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting, we saw when we talked about earlier with Berkeley or Yale. What was the one that had the guy with the Halloween costumes? Yale, with the husband that was outside trying to defend his wife because his wife sent out the email that maybe we shouldn't police Halloween costumes because that's ridiculous, and he was being shouted down and screamed out for being a white supremacist. he talked to Brett. He said he called them and he's like, hey, this is very eerily similar to what happened with me. And they kind of had a great discussion. And how did this happen at 2 distinct campuses? Like, this is bad.
What I want to know is, like, when did this happen? Like, when did college students start becoming professional victims and super offended? And when would you ever think that college students would be the ones saying, no, you can't wear that for Halloween? Like, you would always assume, like, growing up, like, oh, your parents would say, hey, you shouldn't wear that or something. That's offensive. And college students are like the wild, crazy ones who go out and have fun, and they'll push the boundaries. And now it's like you can't wear an Aladdin costume because you're not the right ethnicity. It's insane, and I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think very many people.
There is no understanding it, and
you can't reason with it.
I would highly encourage you to watch if you have time. I think the Dave Rubin interview is the best that I've seen. If you don't have a lot of time, Philip DeFranco does a great, basically, just kind of summation of it. That is also good to watch. And then there's also the Joe Rogan that's like 2.5 hours long. That's also really good, but it's insane. I think it's something that we need to talk about. And I don't know if you want to talk about if there's a possible solution, because I don't know what you do with people that can't be reasoned with. Like, you're dealing with people that exist in their own world, and when you get this many people bundled together, it becomes mob. You become the disillusion of responsibility, where you don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to the group will do it. You know, like, if this dies down and they were bad things that happened or whatever, no one's going to take like blame. They're going to just say, oh, well, the group did it, and you're not going to be able to nail down who did it, and it will continue to exist in these people that will disperse. And that's bad, like bad. And not only that, you have the faculty that are just a cancer. And they need to be gotten rid of.
It's really hard to fix the problem when the people when the people running the situation are, you know, feeding into the problem and orchestrating it even more. I mean, really, the only way to fix this is to restore order into the school, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. There's no other way to fix it.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the police chief. I just forgot about that. So the police chief, chief of the campus police, wanted to come on campus when she was hearing about this. I'm like, what the heck's going on? It's a female. And she made it her mission when she was, what was it called? Her coronation, or what's called when they become like a police chief, whatever.
Her police chief, we'll say that for now.
Yeah, whatever, when she became police chief. She said she wanted to make it her mission to rid out the bad cops. She acknowledged that there were bad cops, but she wanted to fix that problem.
Sounds like
and she wanted to work with good police officers. And when she was trying to get on campus to see this, and the students found out, they started circulating this image around. This image of her looking sexually suggestive in a KKK uniform. Like, how you can't make this up. This is a mother of 3, and these students who, this woman has dedicated her life to trying to fix the police force. Literally the exact opposite of what they described her as. And they think it's okay to just print these out, pass them around and saying, oh, she's coming on campus. And they wouldn't let her come on campus armed. Again, I don't know how they let the students in the school have this much freaking control over the police, but they wouldn't allow her on campus in her uniform and armed. So they said, you can come on campus, but you can't have your gun. And I didn't know this, but apparently, and it makes sense, that it's a big disgrace for a police officer to be disarmed by a civilian in their uniform. Like, being told, like, it's a power move. When you're telling a police officer that they can't come with their gun that they're licensed to have, it's their job to have, and you're saying, nope, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to overrule your job and tell you what you can and can't wear.
But yet you still have to be in uniform.
And exactly. So what they what was it? Came to an agreement where she came on this campus in civilian clothes. I don't know if she was armed, but she came on civilian clothes. But I'm like, how? Like, this is an absolutely unbelievable.
They're toxic, really. I mean, it's a toxic cancer that's spreading, and you have to stop it before it continues to spread. There's no other solution to it.
Yeah, and these people that filmed and uploaded it are now saying that one of their demands was that the white supremacists that stole their videos and uploaded it, they needed to take the videos down and delete the videos. I don't know if you know the internet. If you tell the internet that a video is not allowed to be up, it's only going to get
it's
circulated more.
Exactly.
So we'll have a link in the description for all the videos, because screw all those kids on that campus that want them taken down. This is the freaking America. We're going to show you what's happening. We have freedom. I'm sorry. You're not taking them down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy that this is happening, and you need to stop it before this kind of stuff continues to spread to other college campuses, because it's an outrage.
Right? Like, how hard would it have been as soon as they busted in the president's office, the president would be like, no, you're screaming profanities at me. We're not talking. Get out.
Yeah.
Call the police. Hey, police officers, this is ridiculous. I'm willing to have a discussion with these kids. This is not a discussion. I feel a little bit unsafe because they're not letting me go to the freaking bathroom alone.
It's crazy.
Come take them out.
Yeah, because you can't even give them an inch. You can't give in at all, because if you say, okay, we'll have a discussion, then it's just screaming at them. And then if it's okay, we'll let you adjust some of these rules and regulations and stuff. Then they're just screaming at you. They want more. They'll take more.
Then it's a living document, so it can always change, and we can change it.
It never ends, and you can't fall into that trap. You have to nip it in the bud and just completely stop it before this kind of stuff happens.
There's no giving in to a bully, because they will just take advantage of you the next time.
Yeah.
And there will be a next time.
Well said. Well said. I mean, absolutely. I mean, just boils down to they're just total bullies for, I don't know.
Racist pieces of garbage, man.
It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, that it doesn't spread to more campuses and stuff like that. And, I mean, like we said, this is probably one of the first colleges to kind of experience this. It is kind of more of a liberal arts college and leans in that direction.
Yeah.
But hopefully this kind of stuff doesn't gain traction among other popular universities and
Well,
schools.
this should be enough for us to all condemn this and be like, this is not okay.
The problem is the school boards and the teachers and the presidents of a lot of these major universities won't speak out and condemn these actions. They'll allow it to happen to themselves. Right. So until they address that problem, and until they actually take back control of these colleges, this problem will not be fixed. Because as they continue to see that presidents and faculty will give in to their demands,
they're going to keep demanding.
Do you think they're going to stop? No.
When did it be okay for students to demand of a professor or a president something?
Exactly.
When did that happen?
Yeah. I know. It's insane. They got some nerve, man.
When did that be okay? When did that be okay? That was a great sentence.
Well structured, sir. Maybe just go back to college.
Dude, I am so glad. I am so glad I'm done with college. I mean, because I honestly, you could have told me this was happening, and I would have been like, nah, there's no way. But like listening to interviews, it's like, I don't know when this is going to happen again. I don't know if it was going to happen at where I was going to university again. It could. Yeah. I feel like there's no rhyme or reason to this. There's just crazy students that don't know what they're talking about and feel empowered for no reason, or think they understand that they can make demands, or think they understand racism when they have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude.
Well said. Well said. And I think we'll wrap it up there. And let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Are they being completely crazy? They are. They are. So, it's not really up for debate.
You have one option.
You have one option, and we're right.
Tell us seriously, because I mean, I would be willing to hear an argument if it was sound. I don't know that there is one.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you think we're completely off base here, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know, or how it could be handled better, or what they can do to reclaim their school, really, and how to kind of fix this problem from spreading, this toxic cancer from spreading.
Right. And we also encourage you to read the initial letter. We're going to have a link below. Yeah. Read the letter that he sent out and just see for yourself that these claims are absolutely insane.
And tell people about it. Spread the word, because like I said, I didn't really see this in a lot of places. Only one mainstream media channel covered it.
No, let's not forget, freaking USA Today tweeted this and said, hundreds of Evergreen State students fight racism to hashtag expose Evergreen. The only thing they're exposing is that they're racist. USA Today, what the heck? Garbage. Yeah. You're off my list. Go hang out with the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, there you go. You're both done. Yeah, no, they're only exposing their own prejudices. But anyways, guys, let us know what you think below. And like we said, seriously check out those articles. It's really important that people kind of learn about this stuff. So we can try and stop it and combat it. But guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us out. And until next time, guys, remember, stay informed.